8th grade. In this video, 8.1, video number 1, we'll talk about rewriting in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form looks like this: y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, which is the change in the y values over the change in the x values, or we could say rise over run. The y-intercept is where the line intercepts or crosses the y-axis. Okay, so we're given these equations. These equations come from 8.1 worksheet number 1, the backside. We're going to be looking at the evens. We're given these equations and we have to basically rearrange the terms so that it is in slope-intercept form, so that we have y equals mx plus b. Okay, so look at number 2 right here. I have x plus y equals 7. I need to move this x to the other side so that the equation says y equals something. Well, right now this x is positive, so to move it to the other side, I would subtract x. And remember the golden rule of equations: whatever you do to one side, you must also do that to the other side. So if I subtract x from both sides, these x's cancel, which is what I want to happen, so that I get y equals, now I have 7 minus x, but I want the x to come first so that it will be in slope-intercept form. So I have a negative x or a minus x, and this is a positive 7, so I'm going to put plus 7. And this right here would be in slope-intercept form. Okay, I have y equals something. Well, the slope here, the m, or the number in front of x, is -1, right? This is actually a -1 right there. So the slope is -1 and my y-intercept is 7. That means it crosses the y-axis at 7, positive 7. Number 4. Number 4 says 3x minus 6y equals 18. Okay, again, I need to move this x term to the other side of the equation. So to move it, I would subtract 3x from both sides. That way those 3x's cancel. That's what I want to happen. So I'm left with negative 6y. Don't forget the negative. Negative 6y is equal to, again, I want to put my x term first. It's negative 3x, and that's a positive 18, so I put plus 18. Okay. Now I'm on track to get this in y-intercept form, but it's not in slope-intercept form. Sorry, it's not quite in slope-intercept form yet because this is negative 6y. I need this to be y. So I need to divide this by negative 6. That way, I'll just end up with y. Now again, the golden rule of equations: if you divide negative 6, divide one side by negative 6, you divide the right side by negative 6, and be sure you divide each term by negative 6. Okay? So over here you have negative 6 divided by negative 6, which is just y, and I'll continue over here so I have enough room. You're left with 1 times y, which is just y. Here you have negative 3x divided by negative 6. You have a negative divided by negative, so that's going to be a positive. And you can simplify 3 over 6 to be 1/2. And don't forget your x. This is 1/2 x. Here you have 18 divided by negative 6. So you know your answer is going to be negative, so I'm going to put a minus sign since you have a positive divided by negative. And then 18 divided by 6 is 3. Okay, so this right here is slope-intercept form. I have y equals mx. My m here, my slope, is 1/2. That would be the m, the slope. And my y-intercept would be negative 3, right? A negative 3, not 3, it's negative 3. That minus sign means negative. So this is y-intercept. Okay. Number 6. Number 6, you're given 12x minus 15 equals 3y. Okay. Now you're already given the y over here by itself, and so if you just divide both the right and the left side by 3, you'll be able to get y by itself right here. So let's divide both sides by 3, and remember over here I'm dividing each term by 3. That allows these 3's to simplify, because 3 over 3 is 1 times y, or just y. I'll write my y first. Okay, then I have 12x divided by 3. 12 over 3 can simplify to 4 over 1, right? Because 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I have 4 times x, or 4x. And then I have negative 15. Don't forget this minus sign means negative, and it goes with that term. So negative 15 divided by 3 would be negative 5. So I put minus 5. This is slope-intercept form. My m, my slope, would be 4, and my y-intercept is negative 5, right? Negative 5. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, 2 more. We'll do 8 and 10, so we cover all the evens. Number 8 on your paper looks like this. It says x minus 2y equals negative 10. Okay, I need to move my x term to the other side to get y by itself. So right now it's positive, so I would subtract x from both sides. When I do that, these x's cancel, and I'm left with negative 2y. Again, don't forget your negative sign right there. Negative 2y equals, I need my x term first, so I'm going to put minus x, and that's negative 10, so minus 10. Okay? Now, I have what negative 2y equals, but I want to know what y equals. So I need to divide by this coefficient, which is negative 2, and I'm going to divide every term by negative 2. All right? That allows these negative 2's to simplify to 1y, or just y, which is what I'm looking for. And here I have a negative divided by a negative, so I'm going to have a positive slope. And remember here the coefficient's 1, right? Negative x is negative 1x. And so this would, if the negatives cancel each other out, then I just have 1/2 x. 1/2 x. And then here I have negative 10 divided by negative 2. A negative divided by negative is going to give me a positive, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right, so that's slope-intercept form. Sorry there. My slope is 1/2, and my y-intercept is 5. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, last one we'll do is number 10. Number 10, so I'll move back up here, and I'll put number 10 on the board. Okay, so number 10 we have 2x plus 4y minus 8 equals 0. Okay, there's a couple different ways you can go about this. Since your y is already over here, let's move everything else to the other side. So to do that, let's move 2x over here. So I'm going to subtract 2x, and here I have negative 8. So let's move negative 8 to the other side. To do that, I would add 8. Add 8. Okay, so what am I left with? Well, these two x's, they cancel because 2x minus 2x is 0. Same thing here, negative 8 plus 8, that cancels because that's 0. And on the left side, you're left with 4y. 4y equals, over here you have this stuff, negative 2x plus 8. Right? That 0 doesn't really factor in because you can just take that away because 0 minus 2x is just, or 0 minus 2x is just negative 2x. So this is what I have. I know what 4y is equal to, but I want to know what y is equal to. So I need to divide both sides by 4. And when I do that, remember I divide every term on the right side by 4. That allows these 4's to simplify to 1 times y, or just y. Here I have negative 2 over 4, which is the same as negative 1/2. So negative 1/2 x. And then here I have 8 divided by 4, which is positive 2, so I put plus 2. This would be slope-intercept form. My slope is a negative slope, right? Negative. My slope is negative 1/2, and my y-intercept is positive 2. That's where it crosses the y-axis.